Woo! What a fresh morning. Got these blocks off. Came out of South Dakota last night to like one of my best old time customers. You guys ever have a customer that's like, they've been there from the beginning, and even though they might find someone to do it cheaper, they use you because you get it done and they're happy with your work. Anyway, hauled a semi-load of these, they call them cattle guard buttresses. You like that word? Buttress. I'll go a buttress. Anyway, loaded those cattle guard buttresses up in South Dakota from our good friends over in Newell. And I'll show you what they do with those things. Check this out. So, if you have a spot where you do not want to have to open and close a gate, we employ what we like to call in the ag world a cattle guard. Guards against cattle. Pretty tricky, huh? Anyway, what you do is, let's see if you can see a little better here. This one's kind of filled in with dirt. Oh, here you can see. They take those cement buttresses and they lay them lengthways in the ground. Here they put 2 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they lay the cattle guard right into it. See? A little something about cattle. Cattle will not cross something like this. They'll walk up to it and they'll see it and they can recognize that, man, I'll get stuck in there. I'll get my leg stuck in there and I'm staying back. So you put in a cattle guard. Cattle cannot get in here from out there, and you can drive your equipment across it. You guys have all seen them around. You've seen them before. Sometimes they have them on the freeway, like to guard the freeway from animals getting onto the freeway. Here you go. That's pretty, huh? Anyway, see these? That cattle guard sits right in that. These would actually be flipped around, facing each other, but you just set that. Like Tetris! Oh, it's like a Tetris! Oh, you just fit the cattle guard right in. I did last night when I was loading, noticed a few specks on my trailer, a few oil specks, which is always, oil comes from somewhere. If you ever see little sprays of oil on your trailer or on your truck, I'll show you what I mean. Can you tell? Oh yeah, you can see it. See those dark specks there? This crossbar's dark and covered with dust now. There's oil coming from somewhere under my truck. So it's either got to be a wheel seal. It's coming from this back end. You can see it sprayed around. In fact, look. See that oil spray up there on the side of the frame? See it underneath the crossbar there? So we've got oil spraying up from somewhere. I see it on some brake lines. I'm gonna climb under here and see. It's either a wheel seal or something seeping from a rear end. And we gotta get that fixed up before we can headed to Nebraska next to go get some cattle handling equipment. So let's see if we can figure out what this is. And if it is something serious, we'll have to call the shop and see if they'll squeeze me in. I'm pretty good at talking guys into helping me out on short notice. See up here? See the oil flecks? It's where that oil, when it hits the wind, it just goes. So oil's dripping down, hits the wind, turns into a fine little mess. Oh yeah, looky there. Looky there. Got the dirty finger. Let's see what's under here. I don't think, no, there's no oil. If it's a wheel seal, you'll see a bunch of oil. Your brake drum inside there will be just coated in oil. And the inside of your wheel will have a bunch of oil, but here you can just see all these oil flecks. Looks like that one appears to be clean. This guy, I don't know what it is. There's our culprit. See that? That would be a That would be a pinion seal. And that's what keeps all the oil inside this rear end, of course. I'm going to tell you that. So, there's our culprit. The oil's leaking out of there to the front. So, we'll have to make a phone call. That is a... That's a fix it now. That's a fix it now. That's a fix it now deal. So make a few phone calls and see if we can get squeezed into the shop. I do a lot of my maintenance, but I'm 150 miles from home and I'm headed further away yet. So call the guys down at the shop I use here and see what they have to say. But first, some of y'all probably thought this was a joke. Trucker's magic? Oh, ain't no teasing about the old trucker's magic. A little bit of oil from my finger from climbing under there. Oh. If I'm gonna go into a shop, I gotta look somewhat presentable, right? Remember, start the fire! Start the fire! Woo! That'll do. Here we go. Crossing that cattle guard. Like my XM radio antenna? Oh, I'm a trashy dog, you know it. Oh, check it out. There's the fresh one they just put in. See there? Putting some new feed pins in along there. There's another one. See that? So when they come in to feed cattle in that pen that they're gonna make, they can just drive the feed truck, feed wagon across the cattle guard, feed cattle, and get in, get on, get out. Here you go. We'll be back here a little later on. We're gonna haul some more of those feed bunks. See those concrete feed bunks? We'll bring a bunch of those in here later on. I'll show you how that goes. Some happy cattle right there. Good news. Guess what? They're squeezing me in. Squeezing me in. So, that being said, we gotta drop this flatbed real quick. Pull my shoulder out. And we're gonna get in and they're gonna get me fixed up so we can mosey on down to Nebraska. Nebraska boys. I never want to climb on here. See, I've got a lift axle on my truck, so it's a little, gotta get a little skinny. Good thing I'm a little fella. Airline's off. One hand that thing. We'll dolly down. We'll get her in the shop over there. I'm happy. This is good. This is good. They're like a week out, but I spent enough money here over the last couple of years. These guys are the ones that did the glider conversion on my Cascadia, and that ended up being a fairly expensive venture. Well worth it, but covered a lot of payroll for them, I think, on that one, which is good. Keep that money flowing around to everybody, right? So they said, heck yeah, man, get it in here. Hopefully it's just a seal, nothing more, no issues that cause. Sometimes when seals go out, they go out because there's another issue. Like, for example, if the bearing on that output shaft was going bad, it would cause your seal to go out. I don't think that's the case. This feels tight and right. So hopefully that's all it is. Just a simple seal. It's an original seal, which means it's got almost 1 million miles on it now. So it's lived a good life. Hopefully that's all it is. Just about got my gear down. Whew. Okay. Let's go get her in there. How's it looking in there?
It's looking.
Yeah? Are those yokes a pain to get off?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
This one won't be, I don't think.
New seal. So we take the drive line comes off, and then that yoke, I gotta pull it off of there. And then pull the seals out. Splash a new one in. She's a little snug in there.
Mm-hmm. Just a little.
Any play in that thing, or did the seal just go from old age?
I think it's just old age because I'm not really feeling any play in the shaft.
Right on. Right on.
They just get hot and
yeah.
Hot, cold. It wears that rubber out so quick. Okay, maybe this ain't gonna work. I don't have my 2-pounder.
Need something bigger?
I don't know yet. Kind of.
Come on, you bugger.
Oh, that's cool.
Crap.
It came out.
Well, most of the oil leaked out, I guess, except for that. Just enough to give you a little bath. All in a day's work. At least it's that nice smelling 8090, right? That smells so nice.
You run 8090 on this?
You guys want to see a, just waiting. They went across town to get parts, grab a new seal. They'll bang it in. We'll top her off with some juice, and we'll hit the old trail. But while I'm waiting for the seal, you guys want to see something that gets abused. I always like to think when trucks roll off the assembly line, they have like a mind, they're like, okay, I'm going this direction. I'm going to be a cattle hauler. Sweet. I'm going to be a reefer man. And then there's some that are like, I'm going to, I didn't get a fifth wheel plate put on. I'm just a cabin chassis and I'm afraid of where I'm going. And the trucks that end up pulling feed mixers, let me show you this. They have such a hard life. So hard. Watch. These are used in feedlot operations where they're feeding cattle, kind of like where we were this morning. And let me show you up inside of here. Climb up. There you go. If you've ever wondered, they have these big augers inside here. You dump feed in and they spin. They run different directions, and so it pulls that feed around and mixes the ration. They'll put some chopped hay in there. They'll put some corn in there. Any feed supplements, minerals, nutritional things that cattle need. They put them inside there. Now, feedlots can get wet, and they're year-round, all weather, all seasons. The muck and the mud. This is just normal. I mean, you're like, well, you guys ought to wash your equipment off. It's just day after day. This is the deal. Ugh. Looks like this one's had some Looks like they were just fixing some air leaks, probably. Put a new hose in, I bet. Well, I don't bet. It's quite obvious. Dude, I bet they put a new hose on. Anyway, that's, see that seal back there? That's what they're fixing on my truck right now. Anyway, see that? It's just, I mean, it's just mud and goo. And the other thing about them, and this is a problem with the new emissions for these mixer trucks, when they're mixing, they're just idle. You just idle these trucks and it mixes and mixes, and they'll spend, I mean, hours a day kind of idling, mixing. And as you know, the new emission systems do not like idling on these trucks. It's the biggest death of these trucks. Here goes an old boy. Still getting it done. That guy's old school, man. All right, we're getting close to being done. I'm gonna go take a peek here in a minute, but I'm gonna let you in on a little. I've thought long and hard, and I thought, should I tell him these secrets? Should I not? You know what I love? I always love on trucks when you can see the old. See, I started from the very bottom of the barrel, and I've had so many trucks like this that you could see not only one, but two different companies, you know, lettering etched into the door, sun faded into the door. Anyway, I'm going to share with you this secret, okay? I've decided, as I've been sitting here, I'm going to let you know. I've had this ability over the years to always have a great relationship with my mechanics. You know, the different shops I've had throughout the years, it's always been good. And they've always generally been happy to help me on short notice. This is the biggest thing to remember, okay? If you guys are out there trucking, whether you're trucking or you're not a trucker, whatever the case is, pay your bill. Pay it in full and pay it on time. And your mechanics will love you forever. Forever and ever and ever, okay? That's my big secret. Pay your bill, pay it on time. And when you're done, tell them thank you. I come to this shop down here in Billings, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, but there's like probably four mechanics here, 5. And as I'm wandering around the shop around my truck, at different times they all come up and say hello, because they're like, oh, hey, Jackson's here. Oh, Shub. And we have a good chat. You know, I treat them nice, have a good chat. I'm not always angry like, you guys tore my truck up, you did something wrong. You just remember that being a mechanic is one of, literally, and if you have mechanics out there listening, you're going to be nodding your head. Being a mechanic, especially like a commercial mechanic, is one of the most thankless jobs in the entire world. Here's what I mean. When you do something at home and you get it done, you're like, yeah, I got it. Boom, I fixed my own thing. I did my own whatever you were doing. Putting a transmission in, putting a clutch in, changing tires. When you get it done, you feel the satisfaction. You get in the rig and you get to go use it. These guys, they sit in there day after day and they see something that's broken, they fix it, it goes out the door, that's the end. Next one comes in, it's broken, they fix it, goes out the door. They don't get to experience the satisfaction of seeing it work and being like, hey, it's working. Like Anakin on Star Wars, it's working. You know what I'm saying? They don't get that satisfaction. So if you can give them a good personal thanks and be like, hey man, you did a good job. I really appreciate you squeezing me in and getting this done. If you can do that, mechanics will love you. So pay your bills, say thank you, and be nice. She go in all right?
Uh-huh.
Sweet. Hey, can you guys imagine the amount of work that would get done if all the diesel mechanics in the world quit smoking cigarettes? I couldn't help it. It was too easy. They're just all standing out there. It was too easy. All right, we got her done. We got her whooped. You guys, this is Bill. Cool thing about Bill, how old are you?
27.
He is the youngest Bill actually on the entire planet. There's nobody named Bill younger than 27. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Got any words of wisdom?
Not really.
Don't tear it up. If you've ever been out on Highway 212, then you know. If you know, you know. Right over there. Sorry, my windows are so dirty. Right up on the hill there is where the General George Custer made his last stand. Right out here. There's a nice little visitor center up there. Kind of fun to check out. Need to bring the kiddos down one of these times and give them the old tour. So far, so good. We're out of Montana into South Dakota. Got a couple things I'm interested in checking on here in the future. We're gonna stop and fuel up, and it's another 150 miles probably. One, I'm hoping that seal is holding together and that it's seated in. It just failed because of old age and not because of something else. So when we fuel, we're gonna lay an eye on that. The other thing that I'm very curious about is how this fried chicken, how this fried chicken will have been received. Fried chicken on the road is it's kind of dangerous. I'm always drawn to it every so often. A couple times a year, I'm like, no Subway for me. Give me some fried chicken. But it seems like about 1 out of 3 of those encounters go down the tubes. Not so good. So I'm already halfway through my bucket of chicken. We're just getting on I-90, and we'll see. Time will tell. Time will tell. So we're hoping for 2 things when we stop to fuel up over there at Vivian. We're hoping, one, that our new seal on that pinion seal, we're hoping that it's seated in there nice and it's doing its job. And we're hoping that my stomach has also found great pleasure in welcoming said chicken into the ranks. South Dakota port of entry. See what kind of treasures await. 1 mile. Like 30 seconds of fury right here. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? They're taking pictures of me. I'm taking pictures of them. Looks like a big word. Looks like a big word. Oh yeah, what's it say? Closed. It is a rare treat. The old Tilford coop is closed, I'll tell you that. A rarity, you guys. But she's closed today. That's good. So when you're coming up to a scale, you can't read the open or closed until you're obviously close enough to it to read it. But you can kind of see if the lighted word is bigger or smaller, and closed is always obviously the bigger word. So as you're cruising, you're like, looks like a big word. Or if it looks like a small word, it probably means it's open. But no scales for us today. That should have us in the clear all the way on down to Ainsworth now. Should have a minute. Guess what? Guess what? I feel good. Na 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 na. I knew that I would. My belly feels just fine. That's great news. Now, let's check on the other one, huh? See there? Dry as a B-O-N to the E-double-E, triple-E, quadruple-E. That is dry to the bone, yeah. Oh, what a relief. That's good to see. We'll keep an eye on it for the next few trips, but I'd venture to guess that we got her, well, Bill, not me. Old Bill got her in there nice and right. Well, getting a little moisture. One of my favorite things is to go to bed listening to the rain coming down. See what things look like in the morning. Get loaded up, flip her around, and boogie. All right, we are locked, rock, stock, rip, wrap. Any other words you can think of that rhyme with lock, stock, rip, or wrap? Go ahead and repeat them in your head right now. That's what we are, and we're ready to roll out of here. Head back to this set of corral handling, well, I should call it's cattle handling equipment. There's a lot to handling cattle. There's a lot of different ways, okay? So when you handle cattle, you got to first understand that cattle, they have a mentality. Livestock have a mentality. Just like humans have certain quirks, cattle have quirks, okay? There's certain ways that cattle prefer to be handled. Certain ways you should chase cattle, you know, if you need to move them. If you need to, we call it processing or working cattle. If you need to give them any vaccinations, if they need any veterinary care, we call that working cattle. And this load is equipment that really, really aids in the working of cattle, okay? They have one over here on the ground, a portable, and let me go walk you through it. It'll give you a better idea of what I mean. This one's kind of hard to tell because it's on the trailer. It's hard to describe what's going on. The wind, I hope it's not blasting on there. I hope it's not blasting too hard. I hate windy videos. One of my pet peeves. So, the way this works, this is set up so that cattle can come in here. 2 rows of cattle. 1 row of cattle can come in this side. 1 row of cattle can come in this side. Now, these normally would be lifted much higher for cows. This is set up for calves. But as they walk in here, they bump this. They walk underneath it. Kind of like you know the little toll booth things you used to walk through like at the mall or to get into the movie theater? Once you go through it, you can't go back. You can't get back out. It's locked going the other direction. That's what this is. So if a cow is in here and it backs up, it'll hit this stopper and it keeps it from backing out. So there's always a cow, once it's in here, it's ready to go. It'll move forward, bump across this one. And then when it's its turn, it goes on into this single file alleyway. And then up at the front up there is where a chute would go. Now that I'm done with that, see if you can tell. See if you can see what I'm talking about with this one. This one is permanent again. It'll bolt to the ground. It'll bolt into the concrete. 2 lines. See how it necks down? Zoop! Into one. And then back at the stockyards at home, they have a nice hydraulic chute that'll attach to the front of this. Good to go. Hey, I gotta show you something real quick before we take off. This don't remind you of going out and cruising around town on Friday night. Nothing will, all right? You ready for it? She's a beaut, man. All right, we're here at the stockyards, just backing in. Immediately reminded of always, this is the challenge of unloading. When you load at a manufacturing facility, they have equipment that is specifically, basically, more or less made to load their product. You know, they know what they need, they load it. But when you deliver product, where you're delivering, it's a one-time delivery most of the time. So they don't have, you know, what you're exactly what you loaded with. You're having to unload with different equipment. So you got to make do. Check this out. Okay, so we got one skid steer here. We got a skid steer on the other side. We're gonna try to find the center and lift up. And once they got it up and balanced, I'm gonna pull forward and they'll set it down. That's the plan. Let's see how it goes. Grooving, baby. All right, we're just about wrapped up, unloaded. I want to show you guys one thing real fast. Last thing, I promise. Since you made the whole trip back, you saw the equipment we loaded for these cattle. I want to show you what it is going to be replacing. So you can kind of, in your mind's eye, you'll see and you'll know. This is it. This is the old, well-worn, battle-hardened, existing cattle working setup. Cattle come in this way. They go through the system. They get loaded up. And then this is the chute. When I kept mentioning a chute earlier, this is the chute that contains the cattle. They walk in here, head goes in the front, holds them in place, and they can do the required work. So all this, it's all gonna be gone. They're just pushing it all out. They're gonna slide that red stuff in, and the Lewistown Livestock Auction in Lewistown, Montana is gonna be rocking. You guys, I had a great time making this video. I hope you enjoy, and I tell you what, being completely honest, we've got so much work lined up this summer, so many things to do. It's gonna be probably the busiest one of my life to date, and I hope you'll come along.